Hello everyone. This update, I've had my first chemo. It's Monday today and I had it on Friday and I'm feeling pretty darn good. I think a lot of that has to do with it. It's my first one and they typically do the first infusion slowly. So the infusion I got on Friday was Taxatere, Herceptin, and Perjeta. And the Taxatere is the chemo part, and the other two are the targeted therapies for the HER2 positive part of the cancer. Something I did come to find is part of my pre-cancer, pre-infusion treatment is dexamethasone or decadon, I think it's called, another name for it. But so as a lot of you know, I have an autoimmune disease, and I've used steroids for that to help control that. And so when they gave me the dexamethasone, um, within a couple of days, within 24 to 48 hours, I started having bradycardia, which is a slow heart rate. Typically, my heart rate is between 70 and 80 beats when I'm at rest. And then for the last few days, it's been between 40 and 60 beats, which is quite a bit lower. 40 to 50% lower than what it typically is. So that was really kind of like a shocker. Oddly enough, though, I feel really good. Go figure. My energy's good. I'm in good spirits. I have no nausea, no vomiting. I didn't need to take the extra anti-nausea medications that they sent home in case I needed them. They really wanted me to take them, but in hindsight, I'm really glad that I just said, like, let's wait and see, because if I had taken the other anti-nausea medications, it may have actually dropped my heart rate more, which could have caused problems. Something I have that helped me monitor my health is I have a little pulse oximeter. So, and this lets me know how my oxygen rate is doing and everything. So this is turning on right now. It's very cheap, like 15, 20 bucks. So you can see the top number is my oxygen, the bottom number is my heart rate, and that's what it's been right around there. And this is right now it's like 10:30, I think, and that's usually it's by that time it's in the 80s. So yeah, it's still low, but I feel okay. I'm a little more tired today, but I think that's because the chemo is starting to kick in now. The blood cells are kind of like, ooh. But overall, I'm doing pretty good. A little hoarse in the throat, but I think that's also part of the process. The more I talk, the little more hoarse it gets. But you can still see I still have my little bandage from my my port, but it's be off in a couple of days. But anyway, so it's a cheap little thing. So that's one of the things. I mean, I also have devices I use to keep track of my health. I have the pulse oximeter, the little blue thing I was showing you. I also have this. I've been watching my heart, because I have heart problems in the past, and this kind of tells me how my heart's beating. So if you watch it long enough over a long enough period, you get to know what's normal for you. And this helps me. And they say, well, if my heart's feeling weird, look, oh, it's being okay. Kind of puts my mind at rest. I'm not worrying about it, because when you worry, it causes stress, and that causes other problems. I also have, because of my autoimmune and also because of the cancer, I also have a spirometer. All right, and this wasn't very expensive, like $40, $50. And what you do, you just push this button on here, and you blow in here as hard as you can, and then these little lights here tell you how you're doing. If it's in the green, you're good. If it's in the yellow or red, you need to call your doctor. And so if I start to feel short of breath, I do the pulse oximeter, I do this, and if it's green, I'm like, okay, I'm just maybe having allergies or something. I don't need to bug my doctor about it. But it also puts my mind at ease. It seems like I'm doing a lot, but if it makes you feel relaxed, it's worth the extra dime. And that way you don't have to sit there and worry, well, we should have caught this earlier. I'm like, well, I didn't want to bug you, So this way, if I'm having a problem, I can catch it early before it becomes a serious problem. Because I do have a pleural effusion. It's a moderate pleural effusion, so it can, make me feel short of breath. But, and I do have the stethoscope, but I hardly ever use that anymore. My little ECG machine there does everything I need pretty much. Although the stethoscope can help you with hearing rubbing sounds, what the ECG cannot pick up. the ECG machine, the little green machine, this thing here, picks up the electrical activity in your heart. So how your heart's beating, if you're having an arrhythmium. This one's an actually nice, inexpensive version because it tells you possible things that are going. Maybe you're skipping beats, or you're having some tachycardia, or the bradycardia, which is a slow heart rate. So it does have a variety of things that could say, hey, maybe you should contact your doctor. But with this one, it did take me a little time to learn. I have to give it a couple runs for it to actually settle down, because sometimes it's a little overactive in the very beginning. So now that I know how to use it more effectively, I can not worry about it so much. But so anyway, so with dexamethasone, I guess people with autoimmune disease and who take that, the pulse, when they do pulsed dex, it's you're doing a lot of it in a short period of time. That's what they mean by pulsed. So they do that before the chemo, and they do a little bit during the chemo and a little bit after the chemo, and then they're done until the next cycle, which is in another 2.5 weeks. But so I don't want to be lowering my heart rate that much, because everybody's heart rate drops at night, and before I did a 24-hour monitor thing, it was dropping into the 40s normally for me. So I'm like, is it dropping and being lower than that? Am I maybe suffering kind of some oxygen deprivation in the middle of the night? Because that would not be good for your body. Your body needs oxygen. So, but I do feel good. So I guess everything's okay. I don't have any lightheadedness, no dizziness, no syncope, no graying out. So if I had those kind of symptoms with the low heart rate, I would definitely be contacting my doctor. Oh, I do have one more piece of equipment that would be good to have if you're a cancer patient, and it's a blood pressure cuff. It's the one that goes in your wrist. You just wrap it around your wrist. You just put it on your left wrist. I have a lymph node removed in my left arm, but since it's on the wrist, I don't feel quite as worried about it being there, other than being up on the higher part of the arm. And it's been fairly accurate. I've had it, tested with other devices, and so if you're having a low heart rate, but your blood pressure is okay, then you should be okay. But I'm not a doctor, but that's what I was reading on the internet. And I feel fine. So between the blood pressure being good and the heart rate being low, I feel okay. So typically they say then you don't need to worry about it, but do still keep an eye on it. I sent a message to my doctor about whether or not I should reduce my amount of pre-medication of dexamethasone to help prevent this. So I'm waiting to hear back that response. I think she might have just gotten back to me like 5 minutes ago. I just haven't had to read it. But otherwise, my first chemo went really well. I think the only thing that happened to me during my chemo was like 6 hours. I was there 4 or 5, 6 hours. I flushed. So sometimes I worry about that being like a sign of, a reaction. I just flushed, so no biggie. I was a little tired, but I think that was because of the Akenzio they gave me, which is for the nausea and vomiting. They don't want you doing that, of course. Who wants to be puking? It's still fun. But, so the Akenzio, too, can cause some funkiness. I think it's got an opiate type of reaction, so that could also cause a slow heart rate. So these are just things I'm trying to work out with my doctor so that next time I get a treatment, I'm not, putting myself at risk for, any kind of heart-related issues. I want to make sure I'm on top of my health so I can stay as healthy as long as possible, as you should be doing. Be active. It's okay to monitor yourself and put your mind at ease until you learn. I mean, it took me a while to learn what was normal for me. So it could take a while for you to learn what is normal for you, and that's okay. The more you learn, that way you can tell when something changes, that you need to get it addressed as soon as possible. It's like having a car. When your car starts making a new noise, something's wrong. You need to get it looked at before something else goes wrong, and then it quits working. So our bodies are a lot like that. They're just biological machines rather than mechanical machines. But I'm feeling really good. I've had a last few good days. I know that once the chemo kicks in another few days, I feel a little more tired today, but that's expected because I'm expecting as halfway through the 3 weeks, which is, between days 7 and 14, I will probably feel my tiredest until my body starts kind of picking it back up again. So that's okay. If I can have, every a week and a half good and a week and a half not so good, I can cope on that. I can get stuff done. I can be productive, and that's what I really want to be. I just want to be productive. I want to be able to go out and take care of the horses and clean up and take care of my chickens and take care of myself. I like to take care of myself. I'm a very independent person. But anyway, So I thought that was interesting. That might be useful for you. If not, keep it in mind because maybe someday it might. But I'm learning a lot, and so as I learn more, I will share it with you. Um, there's something else, but I guess I'll just, if I think about it, I'll make another video. But anyway, guys, take care of yourself and stay healthy and stay happy and find what makes you happy and do it and spread it around. You take care. Bye-bye.